want tomorrow, baby. We want it now.
From frosty Cleveland Stadium.
It is bright and sunny at Tampa Stadium. This game has been sold out.
Welcome to Candlestick Park in San Francisco. And our
It'll be a game of great emotion, great intensity. And I think last week...
It's cold here today. You'll hear our teeth chatter more than
turnovers will be the key to the football game this afternoon.
But this team is ready to play. There's no question about that. They are focused on...
After 15 grueling weeks, it all comes down to this one game.
Houston has won the toss and will receive.
We can close the coffin on these suckers right now, okay? Get your man.
Right now, it's time to take a step forward. Let's get a hat on him every play. Let's get this thing started. We got to put something together back to back. Now, let's go.
Kick their butts right now. Let's go. Stay after them.
Trouble putting it away. Free ball.
Feel the damn ball. You can't let it bounce around, man. Get on that ball. Get up on the line. Don't you know how much time's on the clock?
Here's the time to make it, gang, right now.
If you guys got anything left, man, right here, this is where you go after them. Run! Round 80!
Back to throw on fourth down. Into the end zone. It's a touchdown. An unbelievable catch.
Going to the end zone. Got Monk in the backside. Diving catch. Touchdown. Washington Redskins.
He's going long. He's going for everything.
Unbelievable.
Steps up, looks, throws, floating. There, got it!
Firing. End zone. Great touchdown. Touchdown.
A bullet for Martin in the end zone. A diving catch and a touchdown. The play of the day.
Montana on third down. Back to throw. They rush. He steps up. He throws. Has Rice open. He makes the catch. He gets away at the 40. It's a foot right 30. They won't touch him. It's touchdown 49ers. San Francisco 49ers are heading to Miami.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the jungle, sometimes referred to as Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, where the Bengals and Bills put it all on the line. It's the AFC Championship and a berth in the Super Bowl.
It's down to 30 minutes of our will against their will. It's the first time we get the ball driving down there, and the game will be over.
Play action fake, Boomer back to throw, looks in the end zone, lobs it off in a flat, touchdown! Brooke, baby! And the Bengals players storm out onto the field. Woo-hoo! The Bengals have won the AFC Championship and will be in the Super Bowl.
In 1988, polished performers commanded the driver's seat on the road to the Super Bowl. But there were also raw rookies who negotiated a clear path to NFL stardom. On the season's opening weekend, Raiders return man Tim Brown made a dazzling debut when he took his first kickoff as a pro, 97 yards for a touchdown. Tim Brown raced onto the scene in high gear, but when Seattle rookie quarterback Kelly Stauffer got his initial starting assignment, he had trouble shifting into reverse.
Large in motion back for the formation. Stauffer stumbles as he goes back to pass, goes down, gets up, and now cranks up, throws a deep bomb to Butler. He's got it! Touchdown Seahawks!
1988 saw many fail to maintain their balance on the fine line that separated the routine from the ridiculous. One player who frequently encountered treacherous footing was Pittsburgh's Harry Newsome, who led the league in punting while also setting a record for most punts blocked in a single season.
Snap is low. Newsome has it blocked again. And here they go, taking it in for a touchdown. The ball was scooped up.
And so Harry Newsome having a miserable time of it today. Oh, boy.
This will be the third try for Harry. Here's the snap, and it's blocked. And they've got it, and it's going to be a touchdown.
The Steelers have had, what, 6 punts blocked this year? Joy, it's a National Football League record. Harry's got all 6 of these.
During a strange year, what went up didn't always come down as expected. And the familiar occasionally took a tumble into the realm of the fantastic.
Out of the eye, Tate. And he spins over the top, stays on his feet. To the 40, to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, and he scored! I don't believe it!
Scoring a routine touchdown was often easier done than said.
Miller gonna hand it to Primus. Primus, 5, 10, 12, lefty, 17, 10, 6, 5, touchdown, Primus in the corner.
But confusion in the press box paled in comparison to chaos on the playing field. This Keystone Cup's kickoff return by the New York Jets in the final seconds of their losing encounter with the Kansas City Chiefs embodied the bizarre nature of the 1988 season. The Jets, like so many NFL teams, suffered through a season of starts and stops. These clubs tantalized their fans by revealing a brief glimpse of playoff promise, only to deny them that promise at the final instant. But in Philadelphia, Buddy Ryan's Eagles provided fans with a touch of true glory. Ryan created Buddy Ball, a style of play that relied on breathtaking skills and bizarre bounces. For Philadelphia, bad breaks quickly turned into good fortune. And while Ryan devised the Eagles' strategy, their game-winning plays seemed diagrammed by the hand of fate.
The ball is spotted. The kick is blocked. It's blocked, but it's picked up. Right Simmons, I think, bro. And running in for a touchdown. The Eagles win.
There were two simple reasons for Philadelphia's success.
The first reason is the most practical. I believe it's our turn. The second reason is we're scoring more points than the other team.
Dude, you blitz them and throw the ball right in your face.
Cunningham was why the Eagles were scoring more points than the other teams. He was the game's most gifted all-around athlete by leaps and bounds. This resilient competitor was a human shock absorber, capable of shaking off blows and producing shattering results.
Back to the eye. Motion to the near side with Haddock. Randall faking, now rolling with the football and being flattened at the 10, but throwing the ball to Giles for a touchdown.
8 Eagle games were decided in the last minute. Thus, it was supremely fitting that their playoff hopes were still up in the air on the final week of the season. In Dallas, Philadelphia won, but their postseason chances hinged on the Jets upsetting the Giants. When the Giants fell, the Eagles were surprised to learn that they were the NFC East champions and playoff bound for the first time since 1981.
Reggie, real quick, congratulations, you just won the division.
The Jets won?
Yeah.
Praise Jesus. Thank the Lord, yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Merrill Reese along with Stan Walters in Chicago, and welcome to the playoffs. For Soldier Field at this time of the year, this is the French Riviera. No snow, no sleet, no single-digit temperatures.
Against the Bears, Philadelphia fought desperately to erase an early deficit. The Eagles dished out hard hits, but they were also hit hard by mistakes.
He's firing. And it is tipped in the air and caught by Quick.
2 touchdowns were erased by penalties.
Holding against the Eagles, another penalty back upfield.
The Eagles seemed to be playing in a fog, and in the second half, that metaphor became a reality. When a dense fog descended upon Soldier Field, the Eagles' hopes of erasing the Bears' 17-9 halftime lead vanished in a puff of smoke. This thick gray curtain brought an air of menace and an aura of mystery.
I've been in stadiums where they put you in high press boxes and you feel like you're looking through the clouds. But in this case, we really are in the clouds.
Here's how it looks to us, and we're only about 20 yards away from the play. We can hardly see it. In the stands, the fans can't, and they're relying on the play-by-play announcer to keep them abreast of what's going on.
Cunningham looking, he fires the pass, and it is intercepted. It may be intercepted by the Bears, as Cunningham evidently fired into the fog and was picked off that time by the Bears, and that could do it right there.
A 20-12 defeat reduced the Eagles to figures in a surreal landscape, and their road to the Super Bowl receded into a hazy infinity. The road to the Super Bowl passed through rugged terrain, and there was danger at every turn.
Hey, Roger, ain't nothing to say. Kick off, kick ass. Ready?
Just keep coming, man. It's a heavyweight fight.
We're going to pound him a little bit.
Yes, that's right. Try that stuff. Just go. You don't give a go. Well, I didn't want to get up too. No, go. Shotgun. He goes 10 yards. And go. Yeah.
1988 was a punishing season. Every game was a test of courage and toughness. And a passing grade required brawn as well as brain. A player's character had to be as strong and as durable as his body.
It to Hayward, straight ahead, bounces off the pile, turns it up, 30, 35, breaking a tackle. Look out, he's in midfield 50. Nobody's going to catch Ironhead Hayward. That's his first touchdown in the NFL.
Many players preached Old Testament football, but instead of an eye for an eye, it was a hit for a hit. On opening day, Denver safety Mike Harden was fined $5,000 for this hit on Seattle receiver Steve Largent. Ultimately, however, Largent would get revenge. In a Week 15 rematch, Harden, number 31, intercepted a Seahawk pass. But when he started back up the field, Steve Largent was waiting to serve justice. Largent's retribution was but one hit in a season where players pounded everything that moved and ran over anything in sight.
As soon as I see him do this, I'm gone. Boom.
It was even dangerous to document the game. Throughout 1988, the specter of injury consistently cast a shadow over quarterbacks.
And he slides with a first down. He's beheaded. Yeah, and he's not getting up.
I understand 5 went down today. Huh? I understand 5 quarterbacks went down today.
Is that right?
Injuries put 22 starters and more than a few backups out of commission. Passers were popped like paper bags and dazed by hard-hearted hitmen.
He may get the pass off, but you're within reason to hit him, you know, within legal limits to hit him. If he can hear those footsteps, if he can hear you breathing coming from the backside, it's better to be coming from his blind side than from where he can see you.
Increased blitzing delivered the big hits, which left quarterbacks battered and bruised.
Now we'll get our quarterback killed!
There ain't nothing like feeling a quarterback's body crumble, man, when you hit him in the throat.
Hey, our quarterback got clubbed in the face and the neck right there. I mean, he's going to live, but that is a penalty.
I think they've done a good job in setting the rules up to help protect quarterbacks. And injuries are a part of the game, and the game gets a little aggressive at times. That's just part of football, and those things are going to happen.
Unfortunately for the Cleveland Browns, it happened to Bernie Kosar in the season's first game. A team that was favored to go to the Super Bowl lost their star passer. Then, reserves Gary Danielson and Mike Pagel fell by the wayside.
What you've done is you gotta sprain it.
Cleveland signed 38-year-old Don Strock, who ran the offense from a prep sheet that was strapped to his forearm. At mid-season, Kosar returned and ignited a late-season surge that got the Browns back in playoff contention. But Cleveland's momentum came crashing to a halt when Kosar sprained a knee in Week 15. Needing a victory in the season's finale to make the playoffs, the Browns once again called on Don Strock, and he responded by directing a dramatic comeback over the Houston Oilers. In a blizzard, Strock directed 3 second-half scoring drives that earned the Browns a 28-23 victory and a wild-card playoff berth.
The middle, Slaughter, touchdown! Unbelievable!
It seemed as though Cleveland had finally shaken the specter that had haunted their signal callers. But in a rematch between these same two clubs the following week, the curse struck again. Diving for a fumble, Strock injured his hand. And though his replacement Mike Pagel performed admirably, Cleveland lost 24-23. The Browns had courageously faced the quarterback curse that had plagued the entire league in 1988. But in the end, that courage could not get them over the roughest terrain on the road to the Super Bowl. In 1988, the Cincinnati Bengals traveled on a smooth path to the Super Bowl. Their defense was not spectacular, but they were blue-collar tough. The offense, quarterbacked by Boomer Esiason, was the NFL's best. And in Sam Wyche, Cincinnati had a head coach who made all the right moves and was clearly in command.
Regular, down 2x over, looking for the shot going over.
But the Bengals' road to the Super Bowl was not as easy as it looked. 1 year earlier, Cincinnati was a last-place team, and Sam Wyche was a marked man, destined to enter the ranks of unemployed head coaches. More than half of the Bengals' 11 losses last year were games that slipped away in the fourth quarter. And to many Cincinnati fans, the reason was Weish and his questionable play calling. But in a gesture of loyalty and patience, Bengal owner Paul Brown decided against firing his hard-working but beleaguered coach. Instead, he offered some sound advice.
Sam had to start with his personal discipline. In other words, eat 3 meals a day at a normal time. Get the staff home by 7 o'clock in the evening. You think better when you get up rested, and that was the starting point. Sam's very bright, very inventive. He's very unusual in some of his thought processes, and I like this.
With a renewed sense of responsibility, Sam Weish set down 3 basic guidelines.
Be physical, keep your poise, and then the third thing was finish. And that's the one thing that I think a lot of people tagged us, that we lost them at the end last year. We were going to finish every drill in practice. We were going to finish every play. We were going to finish every quarter. We were going to finish every game. We're going to finish this season.
Nobody be defeated out there, nobody! And keep closing in on this guy! Come on, keep your poise! Keep your poise!
Encouraged by their resilient coach, the Bengals played inspired football. As Cincinnati came together as a team, old conflicts disappeared, particularly the once stormy relationship between Sam Weish and his talented quarterback, Boomer Esiason.
He's a star. I wasn't going to call him that before the end of the season, but if I don't call him that now, then people are going to think I'm stupid again.
Boomer Esiason made Sam Weish look very smart as he matured into the league's top-rated passer and the NFL's most valuable player. While Boomer was the heart of the Bengal offense, the soul of it belonged to a man named Ickey. Ickey Wood's end zone antics overshadowed the fact that he rushed for over 1,000 yards and scored 15 touchdowns. By season's end, the Bengals cast their eyes on the AFC Central title. But to Sam Weish, there was much more than just a division title at stake.
This one's the most important one in my career, right here.
You're kidding.
No.
Why?
Because I think if we win, I think we got a team that can do it.
Boomer in play action off to his wide open. There's the man.
Against the Redskins, Cincinnati overcame an early deficit, tying the score at 17-all in the fourth quarter to send the game into a dramatic sudden death overtime.
To throw. He is hit. He is hit and dropped. Who's ball? Bengals ball. Bengals ball. They lost the ball and the Bengals recovered it. You're right. This is what it comes down to. Well, the ball is put down. The kick is up.
All of us have a great love for each other, fraternal love right now. It ain't ever going to be broken. There won't be another minute like this one, guys. We may top it, but there won't be a first time like this one is.
In the opening round of the playoffs, the Bengals wore down the Seahawks with a powerful rushing attack to secure a spot in the AFC Championship. The laughable losers of 1987 were suddenly the lovable winners of 1988.
Who they think is gonna beat them Bengals? Where they play in the jungle? Where nobody knows.
Your turn, baby. Your turn to do it. Here we go. Let's go, Skipper. Best game as a pro, man. Right now. Counting on you. Let's go, Jason. Don't stop till it's all over now. Finish this sucker. Let's go, Timmy. Be nasty. Be nasty. We're going to kick him. Don't worry. Let's go, David Fulcher. Your best game ever. Have a great one, Boomer. A lot of points, baby. Let's go, Blades. You can take this guy anywhere you want him.
Kelly goes back to throw. Figures it downfield. It's intercepted at the 30. Run it in. At the 5, dives to the 4, Phillips.
Tell him halfback, 77 halfback circle. What's this? Touchdown right here. Here it is. This is a touchdown right now.
Play action fake. Boomer back to throw. Looks in the end zone. Lobs it off in a flat. Touchdown! Oh, baby!
You're going to be looking at a throwing game. It's your job to get it going. Right now, David. You're going to look at a passing game the rest of the day.
4th and 10. The downs are not being kept up on the board anymore. There's Kelly back to throw. Looks, fires down into the end zone. Intercepted in the end zone by Fulcher. And the Bengals players storm out onto the field. Woo-hoo! The Bengals have won the AFC Championship for the 2nd time and will be in the Super Bowl.
The Cincinnati Bengals. In 1988, their road to the Super Bowl was a simple, old-fashioned story of players who never lost faith in their coach, and a coach who always believed in his players.
Great job, man. This is what happiness is about. This is what you play for. One more game and we finish it off. Watch out! Hip, hip! Hip, hip! Hip, hip!
All that glittered was gold in San Francisco. From the earliest days of the season, the 49ers mined a vein of spectacular plays that earned them the mother lode, the championship of the NFC.
3rd down. Montana to throw. Throws long for Rice down the sideline. He's a touchdown! 49ers on 77 yards.
The 49ers discarded meticulous multi-play drives. Instead of feints and flurries, one-punch knockouts produced victories.
Well, you remember Sugar Ray Leonard when he was fighting. He was a jabber, he was a mover. He was a pure boxer. Everybody loved to watch him. Our offense used to be a lot like that. Well, the last few times he's fought, he's knocked people out. And our offense is a lot like that now. We've got the power, we've got the running game, and every air arsenal known to man is going to work.
Montana to throw, looking long, throw it deep, wide open, Rice has got it!
40, 40! Jerry Rice, the most feared receiver in pro football, had a body double in young John Taylor, who broke open games in the same effortless style. In this galaxy of stars, there was a supernova named Roger Craig, the NFC's Player of the Year.
Off the middle to Craig, and he breaks loose and runs loose. He gets loose at the 30 to the 25. He's down to the 20. Breaks loose again. He's to the 10. 5. Touchdown 49ers. Oh, what a bonanza. Spectacular.
While fans prepared for a ticker tape parade, the season threatened to blow away like confetti. There were crippling, disheartening mid-season losses to the Broncos, Cardinals, and Raiders. Head coach Bill Walsh appeared more melancholy than Hamlet. And while his team was pushed back on its heels, his quarterback, Joe Montana, fell flat on his back. Joe seemed not so nimble, not so quick. They jumped all over him at Candlestick, and so his tired legs were replaced by the spry ones of Steve Young.
Back to throw. In trouble. He's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again to the 35, cuts back at the 30, to the 20, the 50, the 10. He dives. Touchdown, 49ers.
But while Young could win games, only Joe Montana could win championships.
Joe finds a way to come out on top. Every time that he has to deal with adversity, he slaps it off like John Wayne.
He's like a great racehorse. A great racehorse knows when it's a Kentucky Derby. They know when it's important. They know for some reason there's a lot of money on the line.
It's on you! It's on you! It's on you, baby!
You put Joe Montana in a big game, I don't care if you've had him in an isolation cell for 10 days before that, he'll go out on that field and he'll know it's important and he'll play good.
The 49ers had not won a playoff game in 3 years, a string that included a brutal 1987 loss to the Vikings.
Come on, baby! Come on, Rick!
But in a postseason rematch, Montana threw 3 touchdown passes to Jerry Rice. As the 49ers breezed, barely breaking a sweat or mussing their hair. A smile returned to Bill Walsh, and the spring never left Roger Craig's legs. In a resounding 34-9 victory, the quiet man issued the loudest challenge.
The teams that have beaten another team by a big margin have come back the next week and played terrible. And that is not going to happen to this ball club. I ain't bullshit. We've opened the door. We're going to go through it next week, and we're going to kick ass and take no prisoners the week after. That's right.
This afternoon from frigid, windswept Soldier Field in Chicago, it's the NFC Championship game as the San Francisco 49ers meet the Chicago Bears. Temperature about 17 degrees, wind chill factor minus 26 degrees.
And another thing that's going to be a factor in this one is whether the receivers can hold onto the ball if the quarterbacks can get it to them. It's going to be a little cold.
Guys like Jerry Rice have been wearing gloves most of the season, so that's not going to be a great adjustment for them.
Montana on third down, back to throw. They rush, he steps up, he throws, has Rice open, he makes the catch, he gets away at the 40, it's a foot race, 30, they won't touch him, it's touchdown 49ers!
The 49ers chased away the cold and outran the Bears. And as twilight turned into night, they turned into champions.
Montana back to throw, rolling out, looking, throwing, touchdown 49ers. He hits John Frank for the score.
The 28-3 triumph placed the 49ers to within sight of their third Super Bowl victory of the 80s, an achievement that would not only crown them world champions, but coronate them as team of the decade.
Y-E-S spells yes, we're going to Miami winning.
The Cincinnati Bengals seem to be invited guests at the coronation of the San Francisco 49ers as the kings of pro football. Even those tigers and togas, the Bengals fans, treated Super Bowl 23 more like a world-class party than a world championship game. And while they trumpeted meek notes in grease paint, 49er fans in war paint bellowed a bold prediction.
All the way! 3 Super Bowl wins!
World champions twice, going for three. Going for three. Yeah.
The 49ers' intentions were deadly serious. Winning their third Super Bowl of the 80s would crown them the team of the decade. While the 49ers looked grimmer than a dark alley at midnight, the Bengals strolled footloose and fancy-free down the sunny side of the street. But a walk in the park became double time when head coach Sam Weish barked out a new cadence.
Get yourselves ready your way. You got plenty of time. A lot of points. Let's go! Let's go, Ricky Dixon, number one. Get your best game together today, okay? Everybody in Oklahoma's watching, I think. Do they have TVs there? Yeah. Okay. Let's do it. All in their face, big man, right now. Don't you stop till that whistle's blown twice. All I've got, let's go, Eddie Edwards. This is a capper for you, my man. Let's make it happen. Let's go, Jason. You got to start being an all-pro today, okay? Right now, okay? You got it? All right. You ready, Timmy? Kick their ass, man, right now.
In the game, baby.
You're going to be in it. I don't want this defensive line to stop.
I got him.
Okay. All right. Let's go, Jim Scow. You ready? All-pro?
You bet, baby.
You want to be one?
I'll be one.
I'll write a letter for you. Okay, all right. Okay, here's your little Christmas present. Don't kick that thing up at me now, because I don't want to lose about 2 octaves while I'm yelling at the officials today. Okay, let's go.
Come on, baby! Come on! Turn it on! Yeah! Go, JT! Gotta do it right now. Don't think about anything else but doing it starting the first play of the game. Just take your time getting ready, and we got plenty of time. And then we'll take it to them. All right,
Super Bowl 23 began under storm clouds, with the electric crackle of pads popping and bones breaking. On the game's third play, 49er tackle Steve Wallace, number 74, was hit by his own quarterback, Joe Montana.
Ooh. Boy, I hate to see that. Dadgummit. He's hurt bad, too.
While the 49ers lost Montana's blindside protector, the Bengals also suffered a devastating loss when nose tackle Tim Crumride later broke his leg. The Bengals quickly attacked San Francisco's newfound weak spot. Safety David Fulcher, number 33, blitzed through a thoroughly confused 49er blocking scheme. Then the swarming Bengal defense stuffed number 33 Roger Craig, the NFL's total yardage leader. With the 49er running game in retreat, General Joe Montana redirected the battle plan to the passing game. Once outflanked and outfought, the 49ers' offensive line overpowered Bengal pass rushers. The Bengals lacked a speed rusher, and Tim Crumride's replacement, David Grant, failed to provide a push up the middle.
Come on, Jerry! What's the holding? It's an open field tackle!
But the Bengals could not hold Jerry Rice or Joe Montana as the 49ers moved at will, gaining almost 200 yards in the first half.
Come on now, come on! Cover, cover, cover!
And Montana throws. Wilson has it down at the 1-yard line. I think they're going to replay, Lon. It looks like the ball may have been on the ground.
There's no way that's complete. What do you want? What do you want?
Now let's see what they're going to call. They're going to bring it back. Incomplete pass.
San Francisco managed only a 3-0 lead because an expressway to touchdowns became a series of hairpin curves.
And the left-footed kicker drives it. Oh, this is a dandy.
On this spectacular punt return, John Taylor took the wrong fork in the road.
And he picks it up, gets away from a man, gets away from another, gets away from another, comes to the 30. He has a man down run. He's at the 40.
Instead of cutting back to daylight, Taylor veered to the sideline and a sure dead end. And dead ends became the final destination for most 49er scoring opportunities.
He missed it. Good job, D. That away. That away, defense. That away. All right, Tiger, Tiger, Tiger. Tiger! Yeah, go, go, go.
The Bengals displayed their demolition offense in the first half, and Ickey Woods, number 30, was the wrecking ball. Cincinnati muscled the 49ers and pounded them behind a mammoth offensive line that deployed the most advanced weapons in the arms race.
Dart 79, Z pyramid. You guys can hold him out. Boomer's hot.
But quarterback Boomer Esiason was so cold, he had ice on his wing. The only heat came from a 49er defense which began to adjust, react, and hit back.
Listen to me. Shut up. Let me have it. We can throw the ball and we can run it. We cannot do the same thing. Don't be a selfish football player. When we give you the ball, do your job. And when we don't, do your job again. Now we're going to move this ball down like we have all year long. We're going to kick their ass. They have not done it to us yet. We're going to get the ball back. They're on the 10. When we get it back, we're going to mix it up just like we have. Don't come off this field telling us what to do. All right?
Battered from within and without, the Bengals cracked but never crumbled. And by halftime, they managed to tie the game at 3.
Placed down, kicked, and it's long enough, and it's good.
All right, we're back in it. We're back in it. Good hold. Good job. We're back right in it.
Strong right, Z left. 46A boss, on two, right? Got that zip walk.
The Bengals began the third quarter with a drive that seemed destined to produce the first touchdown of Super Bowl 23.
28, Baker Bruce! 222! Move him back! Knock him off the ball, baby! Knock him off that
Mixing hard-nosed running with a finesse passing game, it took Cincinnati 13 plays to move 61 yards. When the drive finally stalled, Cincinnati place kicker Jim Breach salvaged it with a 43-yard field goal.
Hurry, Bill.
Cincinnati took the lead 6-3. But on the first play of their next possession, the 49ers defense stole the Bengals' momentum.
And Esiason to throw on first down. Rolling out, has time. It's tipped in the air. Intercepted by the 49ers. Romanowski.
Bill Romanowski's acrobatic interception gave the 49ers the ball on the Bengals' 23-yard line. However, they still couldn't get their hands on a touchdown. The Bengals stiffened and refused even a first down, forcing San Francisco to settle for Mike Kofer's second field goal, and a tie that would last only until the following kickoff.
Put somebody down, man. Put somebody down. Put him down. Come on, Stanford.
Stanford, Jennings, and Ira Hillary are back. Jennings with a 21.4 average on kickoff return. And Kofer ready.
Kofer set to kick off to Hillary or Jenkins. They're playing short, so the wind must be blowing up that way. And it'll come down to Jennings at the 7, up to the 10, to the 15, to the 20. Breaks off to the 30.
like a shot and broke through clean, and it was clear sailing to the goal line, and Stanford Jennings comes up with the biggest play of his career.
Stanford Jennings' 93-yard dash was the second longest kickoff return in Super Bowl history. On a play that was both swift and spectacular, Cincinnati grabbed the lead 13-6, and suddenly, a decided underdog had visions of a world championship dancing in their heads. For Jennings, who days earlier had celebrated the birth of a new daughter named Kelsey, this had turned into a super weekend. An unlikely hero dramatically altered the course of Super Bowl 23. But the ultimate outcome would be decided by two well-known All-Pros who would prove that great players aren't always great. They're just great when they have to be. In the harsh glare of pro football's ultimate spotlight, wide receiver Jerry Rice, number 80, had already proved that his talent was equal to the pressure of the event. Rice was having the kind of evening that would, at game's end, make him the most valuable player of Super Bowl 23. And trailing 13-6, it would be number 80's brilliance, along with the accuracy of Joe Montana, that would finally get the 49ers offense revved up in high gear.
All right, oh, we need one. We need it.
Following the Bengals touchdown, Rice, Montana, and running back Roger Craig moved the 49ers 71 yards on only 2 plays. But at the Bengals' 10-yard line, Montana threw what could have been his costliest pass of the game.
Montana not had a pass intercepted in the Super Bowl. Montana to throw, steps back, throws for the end zone, intercepted. No. Holy mackerel, that was almost intercepted by Phillips. He had the ball in his hands and dropped it in the end zone.
Had it right in his hand.
A potential drive-killing interception turned into a demoralizing lesson for Bengals cornerback Louis Billups, number 24, who on the very next play learned never to give a second chance to Joe Montana.
He's back to throw. Quick pass for Rice. Got it out of bounds. And tried it. A touchdown, 49ers. That was another great throw by Montana. That was a touch pass, too. He took a 3-step drop that time. 1, 2, 3 steps by Montana. Ball's in the air. Thrown perfectly to Rice.
This tightrope touchdown by Jerry Rice proved that the 49ers could score quickly and from a great distance. Something that would eventually be the difference in this, the most competitive Super Bowl ever.
4 plays, 85 yards.
No, I want regular to game. No, bingo check right here. I want to eat this clock up, see if we can get right down there and kick a field goal.
34, set!
With a little over 8 minutes remaining in Super Bowl 23, the Cincinnati Bengals began marching towards a world championship. The running of Ickey Woods and James Brooks inched the Bengals closer to their dream. And when the 49ers closed off the inside running, Boomer Esiason simply faked inside and threw over them to keep the march alive. When the Bengals' drive finally died at the 49ers' 22-yard line, number 3 Jim Breach delivered for the 3rd time today.
Ball's put down. The kick is away. It is long enough, and it is go! Breacher! Way to go, Jim! Breacher hit from 40 yards out. His the third field goal of the afternoon. And with 3:20 left to go, the Bengals take a 16-13 lead.
Cincinnati was barely 3 minutes from football's greatest prize.
Play like you're world champions now. Let's do it. Better than you ever played. Let's go. All you've got on defense. Let's go. Play all you got. Now give it everything.
With Cincinnati seemingly in charge, hopes were fading for head coach Bill Walsh and his 49ers, especially when a penalty on the kickoff set them back on their own 8-yard line and 92 yards away from victory. For nearly a quarter of a century, the Super Bowl had been searching for this scenario. Pro football's best quarterback taking pro football's best team the length of the field for the winning touchdown in the final minutes. In Super Bowl 23, Joe Montana and the 49ers finally delivered.
The 49ers have a long way to go. Montana back to throw on first down. Throws over the middle. Completes it to Craig. Craig is to the 16.
Montana again is back to throw. A little dunk over the middle, caught by John Frank, and that'll be a first down. The Bengals are rushing with only 3 men. I hate to see that. So do I.
2:35 remaining. Montana throws, sidelines, Rice, 30-yard line, out of bounds.
Get some movement in there. Get some movement. If you're worried about the scramble and run thing, that's good. But don't just two-gap. He'll peck us apart and get the field goal.
Weish was all too familiar with Montana's precision and patience in the clutch. 1 year earlier, the Bengals had been beaten by Montana's last-second heroics. And now, as the 49ers crossed midfield, history seemed ready to repeat itself.
Throws out here for Rice. He has it at midfield, goes out of bounds at about the 46.
We got 3 timeouts. This is deja vu.
2 wide receivers near side. Montana to throw. Completes it up the middle to Craig.
Oh, get the halfback. Somebody get the halfback.
Craig is down to the 36-yard line. Be another 49er first down.
An ineligible receiver penalty knocked the 49ers back to the 45-yard line, creating an anxious moment that only added to the drama.
Montana trying to drive him the length of the field here with the game in the balance. 16-13, the Bengals lead. Montana back to throw. Throws over the middle. A fight gets for Rice. Right to the 20. He's down to the 19 for a first down for the 49ers. Another brilliant catch by Jerry Rice.
1 minute left as Rice goes over the 200-yard mark in receiving. That was a 27-yard gainer on 2nd down and 20.
What a day. 11 catches for 221 yards.
49ers let the clock run. They haven't called timeout. They still haven't called a timeout. Montana going without a huddle. 52 seconds remaining. 50 seconds. Joe back to throw. He looks. He throws. He completes it to Craig. He's down to the 10. 40 seconds remaining. The 49ers will have to take a timeout here, and they do.
It's such a sight to watch this. It is, whether it happens now or not, to watch Joe Montana do this so many years, and to watch this absolute surgeon on the football field and one of the all-time greats do his thing again, it's almost like poetry.
Max, this is no way. Come on, we got to do it.
One turnover, man.
Got to do it.
Coach, they're going to go. You know, it's to Rice now.
At the 10-yard line, 39 seconds remaining. Montana at quarterback, in motion, comes Rice. Back to throw Montana. Steps up, throws. Touchdown, 49ers! For the touchdown! A 10-yard pass! The 49ers have scored with 34 seconds remaining.
34 seconds away from it.
They brought Jerry Rice in motion. A couple guys followed Rice. One man was on Taylor. He ran a post pattern, and Montana hit him in stride. Montana to Taylor for 10 yards, but they went 92 yards in 11 plays.
In Super Bowl 23, there were victors and there were the vanquished. But there were no losers. The Bengals' performance was a stirring and courageous display. They helped turn this game into the best Super Bowl ever. However, The glory belonged to Joe Montana and the San Francisco 49ers, whose dogged, inspirational rise to the occasion players again reached the summit of their sport. By winning their third world championship of the 80s, the 49ers and their brilliant head coach, Bill Walsh, earned the right to be called the Team of the Decade, and the measure by which champions of the 90s will be judged.
I love you. Congratulations. I'm happy for you like I've never been. Believe me. Congratulations. This is yours. You deserve it. Oh, me. That was a good game, huh?
This NFL Films production has been brought to you by the National Football League. The NFL is online at www.nfl.com.